Lisa quickly scanned the area around her. She noticed that she was still completely alone and still bobbing in the centre of the lake. She fumbled in her handbag and fished out a pair of beige-tinted sunglasses. Her eyes were soothed from the UV protection they offered, and she lay back in the boat with a contented sigh. She was thinking dreamily about what she could sing and in which order at her next gig, which was 3 days away, when suddenly her reverie was broken by the sound of raised voices and shouting. Quickly she sat up in the boat, looking around her to determine what direction the noise was coming from. "You need to be very careful." She deciphered from the tone of the words that the voice belonged to that of a male. At the water's edge, Lisa could now see a man and a woman in what appeared to be in the middle of an altercation. Lisa squinted. She could only see the woman from her knees upwards, as she was standing in the middle of the long grass. The female figure had her hands on her hips and a heated expression on her face as she turned to face the man who had just spoken. "You don't frighten me," the woman replied tersely, pointing a finger. "Leave me alone and mind your own business." Lisa leaned forward in the boat, her attention completely on the arguing couple. She saw the man reach out a hand, attempting to grab hold of the young-looking blonde woman by the arm, but she shrugged him away angrily. Lisa suddenly felt like an intruder in what was obviously a domestic argument. She cleared her throat loudly, hoping that they would notice her and take their quarrel elsewhere, but they appeared oblivious to her presence on the lake. "You don't know what you're doing, you stupid." The man trailed off as the woman spun away from him on her heel. Lisa saw his hand jerk forward again, and this time he grabbed her in what looked like a vice-tight grip. The woman was struggling and was trying to lash out at the man, but he gripped both of her arms in his large hands. She could hear the woman cursing, but the man seemed unfazed by her futile attempts to break free. Lisa was beginning to feel concerned by the severity of the row. "Hey, are you okay?" she called towards the woman. Neither of the couple appeared to have heard her. She raised her arms, waving in their direction, hoping to attract their attention. She saw the woman raise a knee and direct it defiantly between the man's open legs. He bent forward, his face contorted with pain, and loosened his grip on the woman's arms. Lisa saw her spin around and shoot forward along the water's edge, in the opposite direction. He quickly recovered and strode after her. Lisa saw the woman running now along the water's edge, and she suddenly felt real concern for her safety. That man looked really mean, she thought with a shudder. She tugged at the anchor, pulling it quickly up out of the water, and then quickly shoved the oars overboard and started rowing towards the edge of the lake. "Hey, stop! Stop!" she yelled louder now. She saw the man pause fleetingly and look in her direction with a frown on his face. But the woman seemed to have not heard her and was still running. The man sped after her. "Run faster!" she willed the woman silently. Lisa saw her stumble over gnarled tree roots and fall onto her knees. The man caught up with her. Gasping for breath, he grabbed a handful of her blouse and yanked her roughly by the arm. Lisa was close enough now to see the wince of pain pass across the woman's face. "Leave her alone!" Lisa yelled, angrily rowing faster towards the couple. This time the woman heard her and turned her face towards Lisa. A look of fear and dread was evident on her features. "Help me!" she screamed, flailing her arms in the direction of the lake. The man pulled her to her feet, and with one last nasty sneer in Lisa's direction, he yanked her away from the water's edge, and then disappeared with her into the trees, like an animal who had captured his prey and taken it back to its cave. Lisa could no longer see them, but she could hear the woman screaming. "Oh, God," she thought in desperation. "Are you okay? Are you okay?" She cupped her hands around her mouth, calling into the trees, waiting for a reply. But there was no answer. There was no shouting, no screaming anymore, only ominous, deathly silence.